Mohammed's work permit is expiring. His work permit's expiring. He's about to lose his job. And he's engaged to get married. The obvious thing to do was to get married and file for a green card through marriage. But there's a problem. Mohammed lives in California. His fiance lives in Massachusetts. He's going to law school. He asked me how we could do this. How could we do the case? He needs to file the case immediately so he can get his work permit so he doesn't lose his job. How could he put the case together and solve those issues? If you don't know me, my name is Josh Goldstein. I'm an immigration lawyer in Los Angeles. My firm has an office in Boston as well. We do cases from coast to coast. We help people just like you get unstuck and achieve their immigration goals. Let's talk about Mohammed's situation. His work permit's expiring. His job is on the line. He needs to get a new work permit. It's serious, it's important, and he's engaged to get married. The problem, his fiance lives in a different state. What he wanted to do was this. He said, look, Josh, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put down on the forms that my wife and I live in California at the same address. Then we're gonna get a lease with both our names on it, showing that we live at this address. Then she's gonna go into the DMV, RMV, whatever they call it, and get a driver's license in California to show that she's a California resident. Meanwhile, she'll be back in Massachusetts. But on the forms, we're gonna put down that we live at the same address because she's gonna have a lease and a driver's license. So that was the plan that he had in mind. And he asked for my opinion and my advice on how to make this happen. Let me tell you right now that this is not the way to do it. And let me explain why. If you get a driver's license in a certain state, it means that you're claiming to be a resident of that state. And if you're not a resident of that state, then that's a bit of a problem. When you apply for a green card through marriage, USCIS is checking to see if the two of you actually live together. The information on you put on the forms is really important. If you list the same addresses, you're claiming that you actually, in fact, live together, that you physically live in the same household. In this situation, my client didn't actually plan to live together physically with his spouse. He was just creating paperwork to make it seem as if he did live there. And that's a huge, huge no-no. USCIS, they thoroughly investigate this. They're going to do a public record search. They're going to look through everything. And they're going to try to determine whether the statements that you put on your immigration application are true and accurate. When you go to your interview, they're going to be looking for paperwork and documentation to show that the two of you live together. And if you don't live together and you go in there and you falsely claim that you're living together, it's really the kiss of death. Here's the solution that I proposed for Mohammed. I said, look, you can't falsely claim that you're living at the same address. We just can't do that. It's fraud. It's terrible. And it's not going to work because they're smarter than you are and they're going to catch you and your case is going to come down. So I said, here are two choices. First, you list your address on the forms. And then your spouse, after you're married, lists her address on the forms. You have separate addresses. There's no requirement, there's no legal requirement that you live together in the same household. And he said, but Josh, if we don't live together in the same place, if we don't really live together, how are we going to get approved? In order to get the case approved, all you have to do is show that the two of you have a marriage that's based on a genuine relationship. There's no legal requirement that you live together. Most of my clients, in fact, do live together, but there's no requirement that you have to. You could show that the relationship is genuine. You could show that you plan to move in together very soon. There's lots of ways to go about it, but what you can't do is falsely claim to live together. And I said the other thing you could do is just relocate. The two of you could move in together in California, or my client Mohammed could move to Massachusetts, or the two of you could move together somewhere else entirely. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is that you live together in the same household, or if you don't, that you're accurate and true about that. You got to be honest with USCIS. They're smarter than you are. They're going to check everything. They're going to catch you in your lies. So don't falsely claim to live together. That's the worst thing you can do in any marriage-based immigration case. I'll be back with more tips soon. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video.